So today is Mother's Day. By the way, happy Mother's Day to all those mamas out there. I am going to be making aguas frescas, and I'm going to be doing three types. These are probably my favorite types, but the first one is going to be watermelon, Agua Fresca de Sandia, and all I'm going to do is use half of the seedless watermelon, and actually I just purchased it this way. If you have a whole one, then do that. But I think this amount worked really well for the 1 gallon jar that I'm going to be putting this in. So all I'm going to do is slice this, and then after I slice it, just trim away the rind and cut the flesh into cubes. And you will want to taste your watermelon, and this one is super delicious and sweet. So I'm not going to add sugar. What I am going to do today, because I'm having several groups of people come through today, I'm going to do simple syrups on the side, and they can add sugar if they want. By the way, I did a video for Agua Fresca de Sandia last year, and I had a lot of commenters basically complaining that I added sugar. Now, you definitely don't have to add sugar. It's really easy. It's just, there's water and watermelon. But if you have one watermelon and you're trying to make gallons and gallons of it, one trick that my grandfather used to do was add water, tons of ice, and sugar, and it really made it last. But these days, you can just buy another watermelon. So today what I'm going to do is literally just liquefy the watermelon, add tons of ice and simple syrup on the side. So here is my cut watermelon. It's cut into chunks. Now I'm going to blend it. So I guess virtually this is a 2-ingredient agua fresca because all I'm adding is watermelon to my blender. It's going to liquefy it, and I'm going to add tons of ice, and whatever melts from the ice, it's just going to dilute the water a little bit. And again, if you make simple syrup on the side, or even if you add sugar, it all works out because it is to your preference. So all I'm going to do is run this through a sieve, and this is actually taking a really long time. So by the time I was blending the second batch, I realized this is for the birds. I need something a little bit quicker because I'm making 3 of these. So I took a really big strainer and put it over a bigger bowl, and voila, that totally went a lot quicker. But you know, do what you must. And I am going to push some of this puree that's being left in the strainer. I do want that in the jar, so I'm going to get as much of the pulp as I can. So that definitely went a lot quicker. So this filled up halfway. So now I'm going to add the other half in ice, and that is it. And as it sets, it's going to get colder, and then it's going to melt and dilute a little bit, and that is okay. But for the most part, this is done. By the way, you guys, if you guys enjoy these videos, please be sure to subscribe and be sure to click that bell icon so that you get my latest, newest, and most updated videos. I sure would appreciate it. Okay, so my agua fresca de sandia is done, and now on to the next one. Here I am going to take 1 pineapple. By the way, when doing a gallon jug of Agua Fresca de Pina, use 2, and I learned that after the fact, but I wanted to show you. I am using this pineapple core, and all I'm going to do is press down, twist, and eventually it's going to pull out in one piece. It's cored, it's sliced, and it's so easy. And this is actually what I did for my chicken pineapple fried rice video. I've been using pineapple left and right these days because they're in season and they're so delicious. So that's all you need to do with this kitchen tool. I will put a link for this type of pineapple core in the description below for those of you that are curious, but it really does make slicing and peeling or cutting a pineapple really simple. And just like that, you pull it out and it's already sliced and it's already peeled and it's great. Okay, so I'm going to cut that into chunks just like this, and now I'm going to liquefy it. Again, I had 1 pineapple, but to make a gallon jug, you'll need to use 2. And I actually, when I did this, I sent my husband to the store while I was filming this to get the other pineapple. So let's just pretend I cut 2. And all I'm going to do is liquefy this. This is so ripe and sweet. It's going to liquefy without the help of any water. By the way, if you're using a little fancier blender, you definitely don't need water like a Vitamix. But this is my Old Faithful Black & Decker. I do need to get another blender, by the way, but it's still working. So anyways, liquefy your pineapple, and that is it. I'm going to pour it into my gallon jug. Again, if you want sugar, if you want to sieve this, but I just find it easier to have the pulp and everything together. It's delicious. I like it. But you can definitely sieve that because a lot of people do that. I actually did that in my last Agua Fresca De Pina. And again, I will link my old videos below, the ones that I did like last year. Okay, so this is done. And again, I'm going to double that up so later you'll see it more full, and that's because my husband right now is actually picking out the other pineapple. So that is it, the pureed pineapple and lots of ice. Give it a good mix, and thumbs up to this because this one is done. Okay, moving on to the limonada. I am going to be slicing all of these limes. Here I have over 10 limes, and when I was growing up, I was like the designated lime person where I had to slice the limes and squeeze the limes for my grandmother or grandfather when they were doing like the big jarra of, agua fresca for like parties. And guess what? That paid off because I'm still slicing and squeezing limes. So depending on how juicy or large your limes are, I can't tell you how many limes you need to squeeze because it varies from lime to lime, but you do want to end up with at least 1 cup of lime juice. I'm actually squeezing out 12 medium-ish to large limes, and I did end up with a little over 8 ounces of fresh squeezed lime juice. So that is what you are going for, to at least have enough to make 1 gallon jug. Okay, so my lime juice is ready. Now here comes the part where you do this to your preference. I am going to add sugar to this, and if you don't want to add sugar, you can add an alternative, a sugar substitute, and you can add as much or as little as you like. I am going to start with a 1/2 cup, and ultimately 3/4 of a cup is what I'm going to put into this. And honestly, it was not super sweet, but again, I'm doing this with a simple syrup on the side, and I will let the guests decide how much more sugar or how much more they want to sweeten this lemonade or limeade or agua fresca de limon. I don't know, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so 3/4 of a cup is going into my fresh squeezed lime juice. I'm going to combine this until the sugar dissolves, and then I'm going to pour it right into this gallon jug, and I filled it up halfway with water, and the rest of it I'm going to add the ice. Now, if you don't want to add ice to this, then you'll probably want to fill this 3/4 of a way with the lime in it. But I did half water, the lime juice with sugar mixed into it, and I'm just going to fill this up with ice. So you will notice that I'm not really giving exact measurements. I'll do the best I can in the description. But one thing I have learned through the years about making agua frescas is it's really up to your tastes and preference. Like I said in my last video, I like to add water and sugar to kind of dilute it and make more, but a lot of people didn't like that. And some of them were right on with it. So it really depends on what you like. And you might want double the sugar that I'm putting in there. Go for it. That is up to you because you are drinking it and it's your taste buds that you want to satisfy. So right now I'm just adding tons of ice, and my 3rd one is done. So I am ready. I'm going to give this a good mix. And now I'm going to show you how easy it is to make a simple syrup. Basically, a simple syrup is equal parts water and sugar. That is it. I am going to be making 2 types. Now the second one, call me crazy, I know, but I think it's fabulous. But the first one, I have 1 cup or 8 ounces of boiling hot water, and I'm going to add 1 cup of sugar. And I did not weigh the sugar. I'm just basically using a 1/2 cup measure twice, and that gives me 1 cup of sugar. And I'm just going to mix this until the sugar is combined and dissolved. By the way, a lot of people do this on the stovetop, like at a low simmer, and I basically have a water dispenser that has the hot water option, and so I just did that, and it's hot enough to dissolve the sugar. That worked for me. So here's my first simple syrup, and of course the color has this amber color to it because I'm using like sugarcane sugar, but if you're using white sugar, it would be clear. Okay, so the next one I'm going to do, by the way, I poured it into this little squeezy bottle. That's very convenient. So the next one I'm going to do the same exact thing, water and sugar, equal parts, but I like to add tahini to it because tagine is life in my life. I love this, especially with like fruits. So I'm going to add probably a tablespoon to this simple syrup, and this is just another crazy thing that I like. If I can find a way to add tahini to something, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna do it. So you don't have to do this, but I think it's kind of fun, and for my tahini lovers, you're probably gonna like it, so give it a try. Okay, so my agua frescas are done. I have guests coming, and this is what I ended up with that second pineapple, by the way. And as you can see, the ice is starting to melt, so it, you know, the amount in the jars are a little bit more. There are my simple syrups, both of them. And guys, if you really have tahini at home, you gotta try it. So be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Click that bell icon to get notifications. And I hope you guys give this recipe a try. I hope you like it. And thanks for watching.